You'll hear from me, don't worry, and so will Mr. Banducci.
Bandulo.
Bandulo! I'll get into you. Into it right away.
Thanks again, Mr. Portnoy.
Not at all. I've enjoyed every minute of it.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
This is Cheapseat Reviews.
So I came kicking and streaming to this thing. Kicking and streaming. Perfect.
Rudolph and the Island of Misfit Sex Toys.
Really?
Like Banana Deep.
Hello, and thank you for listening to Cheapseat Reviews, the podcast that explores the Hollywood film industry for the greater good.
The greater good.
Oh, God, I just vomited a little. Please don't ever do that again.
Oh.
I don't think anyone's going to say that after this movie.
Oh, my gosh. I assume that was diarrhea you were having, right? That was what was happening?
Yeah, of course. It's constipation, right? It's cement over here.
Cement.
Come on.
Just cement. You could make bricks with it.
Cement!
You can mix bricks with this.
Gosh. All right. This is episode 398. And tonight we're talking about Portnoys Complaint. If you have no idea what that is, you would be just like the rest of us, except for, well,
living your life.
Yeah. You're doing God's work and whatever, and then along comes this movie. I am Sean Allred, and joining me tonight is Andrew, ordered maple syrup on his honeymoon, Jimison.
Hi, Sean. Every time that I look at you, I just want you to know, when I blink, you lose another article of clothing, and the brilliancy of your translucent skin shows very, very nicely.
All right, stop it before I jump off a balcony.
It's unfortunate because the camera can't white balance appropriately, so it just looks like, like a nuclear explosion in here. Also joining me is Sam. He's willing to be mean and insulting to his parents, but he draws the line at the mayor, Vector.
Absolutely. Well, the mayor is important. And Sean.
Yeah.
Just so you know, I'm going to make it black and fall off, just for you.
Oh my God!
And for some reason, make it sound like a piece of glass or something. Oh my gosh! And making their Cheapseat Reviews debut. Making their Cheapseat Reviews debut is Sarah. Will now apologize to us for making us watch this film. And Kelsey, I'm sorry Sarah made you watch this, from the Bird in the Hand podcast.
I'm not mad about it, and I will not apologize. I'm just letting you know. I won't do it. I
want to know how you found this.
Okay, so we did an episode where we read poorly written sex scenes.
By male authors.
Oh, by male
authors
yes.
is the key.
Yes.
Okay.
And, so we went through, and Sarah and I tried to read these poorly written sex scenes without laughing. And so the scene we read was the one from this movie where he's laying in bed with the woman, and he talks about how he made love to a piece of the liver, and then his family ate it for dinner. Yeah. So once we read that lovely,
you were sold by that point. I see.
Well,
we just kind of had to know.
We Googled it, of course, because then I was like, hold on, who the hell is this author that's talking about, masturbating into a piece of liver in an alley? What is this? And so we Googled it, and it is, hold on, let me show you.
A New York Times bestseller,
Yes, it is. Times 100 best English language novels from 1923 to 2005. That's a big time frame. And we were like, what? So we're looking at it while we're recording our episode. And then we saw that it had been made into a movie, and I was like, shut the front door. We have to watch this. So this was the perfect opportunity.
Do you know when the book was published?
I believe
had to be in the 70s, right?
That would make sense.
Well, that's the film. 1969. What the?
There you go.
Okay. Well, that's an appropriate year.
Oh my God.
for this movie especially. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so appropriate. Oh, so yeah, that's where it came from. That episode was real interesting. I think liver was probably the worst thing liver was up there, if not the worst quote we read.
If you guys are interested, I have an excerpt from the book that I can read to you.
That sounds amazing.
She has a very sexy phone voice.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
Oh, she's preparing. All right.
She does. She gets in character.
It's true.
All right.
Oh God. Okay.
Don't laugh.
On an outing of our family association, I once cored an apple, saw to my astonishment, and with the aid of my obsession, what it looked like, and ran off into the woods to fall upon the orifice of the fruit.
You're good. You're good. There's no recovering from that orifice.
Pretending that the cool and mealy hole was actually between the legs of that mythical being who always called me Big Boy when she pleaded for what no girl in all recorded history had ever had. Oh, shove it in me, Big Boy, cried the cored apple that I banged silly on that picnic.
This is what you chose of all the freaking clips you could have
So
chosen?
good. It's
This
okay.
one?
There's only a little bit
Sorry.
more. Big boy, oh, give me all you've got, begged the empty milk bottle that I kept hidden in our storage bin in the basement, to drive wild after school with my vase lined upright. Come, big boy, come, screamed the maddened piece of liver that in my own insanity I bought one afternoon at a butcher shop and, believe it or not, violated behind a billboard on the way to a bar mitzvah lesson.
That's actually in the
Nailed
movie.
it.
That's pretty close to the lines in the movie too.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I read somewhere because I wanted to figure out what the heck this was. I read somewhere they stuck really close to the book. Like they basically said this is the book in movie form. So.
Yep. So there was actually a director too that tried to make it like his own, and the author came in and was like, "No, you're gonna stick to the book."
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So Portnoy's Complaint. This movie came out.
What is this?
Yeah, this movie came out in 74, right? 1974. And Andrew, I'm dying to know what IMDb has to say what this movie is.
Well, if you are a cheapskate listener and you happen to Google this, it is not Port, P-O-R-T, space noise, as I originally thought it was, because I looked for this movie for quite a while and could not find it. And then I thought, what a dumb name for a port. But this is actually P-O-R-T-N-O-Y apostrophe S, Portnoys Complaint. And this movie chronicles a young man's love and passion in his own kinky way.
All right.
That's what IMDb says.
Sure. No,
Pretty
why
on
not?
point.
That actually
Yeah.
works pretty well. I had to laugh. So when most people know this by now, whenever I approach a guest and say, "Hey, would you like to come on the show?" and they always, most of the time they say, "Yeah, sure, of course." Very few times have been like, "No," but that's not the point. Actually, it's not happened yet. To my knowledge, it hasn't happened, unless Sam and Andrew are asking guests I don't know about. And usually, what happens is I say, "Hey, here are some movies to choose from." So when I said, "Hey, Sarah, would you like to come on the show?" she said, "Yes, and this is the movie I want to watch." I was like, "Oh, okay." And she says,
didn't give you a choice. That
no.
sounds right.
And she said, "I guarantee you've not watched this." And I said, "Well, you're right. I've never heard of it." And by the way, I have to correct myself. 1972 is when this came out. So I said, "Okay." And so I looked it up, and I did the little IMDb thing, and I thought, okay. And I think Sarah's description to me was, it's really weird and funny, and it's about a dude and sex and stuff, and it'll be great for the show. I'm like, okay.
She really sold it.
Yeah. I was like,
Hey, they went for it.
well, and honestly, the only thing that I should have found out sooner is that it wasn't streaming anywhere for free.
Oh yeah.
So that's kind of a rule breaker, but it was too close to make a decision or make a change. So Sarah, you owe each of us
We're good.
$3.
You're gonna break my bank. I don't know if I can meet that.
Yeah.
Well, hey, apparently we have to buy new microphones tonight, so maybe cut us some slack.
Or an
And-
XLR cord. I don't know.
And a new MacBook charger as well.
Oh yeah.
Maybe it's the computer.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I
either.
don't know.
But no one cares. But
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
no, it's fine. It's just like, so for people listening, they have a lovely 2 microphone setup, but for some reason only one of them is working. So literally both ladies are hovering around one microphone. They're literally hugging each other. It's very lovely, and I promised them that I would
We're
not.
very close friends.
I promised them I wouldn't put it on Twitter.
Yeah.
Again, this is going to be a different episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, a parental warning if you haven't realized it yet. by the
Yeah,
way.
I think we'll probably keep our PG-13 rating on this one, but there's going to be a lot more talking about masturbation and dicks and things like that. So just going to be
And
honest.
you said we couldn't say the
Yeah.
F word.
There's nothing wrong with the word masturbation. It's fine. I just, I don't want to.
It's scientific.
Say it
It's
5 times
medical.
fast.
Yeah. Just, the F word is the. Oh. So this movie, directed by
serious.
Ernest Lehman. Am I saying that right?
Ernest P. Worrell.
Lehman.
Keep touching you everywhere.
Oh, I'm glad that got picked up. This is the only film he has ever directed. This guy.
Interesting.
Well, that makes sense.
But he's got a lot of writing credits. He's done a bunch of. He wrote the screenplay for North by Northwest and the 1961 West Side Story, and I don't know, something called The Sound of Music.
Oh,
But wasn't that already written? I mean,
Well,
how could he be the writer?
Well, so was this.
Well, yeah, I mean, right, exactly. But he wrote the North by the Northwest. Again, that's it's Hitchcock, right? Right?
Yeah.
I'm not wrong there.
Yes. Yeah.
And West Side
So
Story,
this has
again, that's a thing. He wrote the screenplay for it. So, but he's a good. And he wrote this, and then he took a little break, and then came back in the. So he's in the doing some stuff in the 70s, and then took a 10-year break, and then wrote the 60th annual Academy Awards TV special in '88, and then again in '90. And then came back in '95 to write the screenplay for Sabrina, and then last
The
year
Teenage
wrote.
Witch?
Yes, no, and then last year wrote a short called Mashup in 2021. I mean, the guy's still working. I guess I don't know. No, he's not still working.
crazy.
What? That doesn't make sense. He died in '05. Wait a minute.
COVID.
What? He has a writing
still
credit
working.
He has a writing
is
credit
still
in
working.
2021, but he died 15 years earlier. All right, well, good for
You
him.
gave all this beautiful information, and you're like, "Oh yeah, just kidding."
This guy was
Poor guy.
I
nominated.
might be wrong.
He was nominated
Well,
for
I
6
mean,
Oscars
it
too.
could be that something was written and then
Shot
And then
yeah,
you-
filmed.
it was saved
Later.
for later.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm
we'll give that to you.
yeah. So I'm bringing all that up to say that obviously the guy can write some stuff, but and again, most of this movie is based on the book, so it just feels like he's just writing what's already there. But as a director, this movie's not good.
No.
I really
It's tough.
feel like he thought this was going to be like his 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah.
Where people talked about it a lot. They really wanted those spicy scenes, but it wasn't going to be great acting and you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I love 50 Shades of Grey, but not because it's, going to win Academy Awards or anything. I like the smut factor.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be
There's-
honest.
There's a great
That's what people
scene.
was hoping for it.
Yeah, there's a great scene of milking a cow that is edited perfectly. I don't know if you caught it,
Oh my God.
Yeah.
but that's actually where the GIF came from, or
Is
GIF,
it?
however you want to pronounce it. Yeah, it's a little known fact.
From the
Yeah.
from the cow. Oh, and he goes back and forth. Yeah. Yeah, they rewound the film. Oh, that annoyed me so much. That entire
Like
sequence.
twice, right?
Yeah, that entire sequence annoyed me so much. Like,
It was so unnecessary.
we're going to get into
It
our
was
5
just-
reviews here in just a second, but I really need to complain about this. This is such bad direction. I understand that they have a camera, and so we have like 7 freeze frames. So make the sound of the shutter of the camera on the freeze frame so that we know what we're looking at is a picture. I thought my internet kept freezing. Like,
Yeah.
it was so bad. Like, this is like, I feel like I'm giving podcast critiques here. Like, give me better signposting movie. But it was yeah, it was that I really hated that part. So we're gonna do 5-word reviews now. So Sam, tell us what have thou written about this movie?
Oh my gosh. You know, I might be the only one here, but I watched this last night under penalty of being in trouble for not watching it for the podcast. So I came kicking and streaming to this thing. Kicking and streaming. Perfect.
Nice.
It's a podcast name and to begin with. Anyway.
You're making puns.
I know, right? So I've got 3 here. And the first one is Dream Turns into Nightmare. And my next 2 kind of, what I took away from this was Can't Always Get What You Want and Relationships Ain't Easy. And for the first half of this movie, I was thinking, what the heck is going on here? I was driven crazy by the typical Jewish mother-father family relationship. I understand that he had a weird upbringing. And it wasn't until he started going, is it dating? I don't even know what you'd call it. It's screwing monkey, I guess you could say.
Boy, out of context, that's a really...
Monkey, though?
What's that?
Didn't he call them all monkey?
I have no idea. He might have.
It was just the one.
It was
I
just
thought
the
he
one.
called the redhead monkey, and he called the girl he was talking about the liver with monkey as well. Because that was not in the clip that we read. So look into it, people.
So the interesting part of this movie is when that started happening, because here you've got this guy who obviously never grew up in terms of that type of activity, relationship, wanting, whatever it is. And I think all us guys, pretty much 90% of the male population would want that. We would want a woman like Monkey to come into our lives and have fun with, right? So I'm thinking, okay, well, this is kind of fun. They're enjoying each other's company. And then you start, I like the way it started turning, where they started getting on each other's nerves, and especially her on his, where he had this perfect ideal relationship, this perfect ideal dream life that he was living. But she was kind of, I hate to say it, dumb. And she couldn't spell, and she couldn't, it just, all of a sudden there were these little things that were coming to the surface that maybe this whole sex wasn't worth it, right? This whole dream, maybe there's something more here that men want, that to have a lasting relationship. And I found it an interesting conversation in terms of, exactly what do men want? And I appreciated that it finally came to a head where, maybe this fantastic, beautiful looking lady who all she wants to have sex is not what we all desire. And maybe it's not the end all be all end goal.
Yeah. We sometimes just want a spoon.
I mean, honestly,
that's where their relationship fell apart, though. Was in
That's
Vermont
true.
when they were trying to.
Yeah, they were spooning.
She thought it would be fun to not have sex the one night, and then it just kind of went downhill from there.
Yeah, and he was having none of that also. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So there's a movie with Mel Gibson from a few years ago called What Women Want, and they should have done a sequel, What Men Want, but it would have lasted 30 seconds.
Did.
Yeah.
Not with Mel Gibson.
They did a sequel?
It's I can't remember the actress's name, but they did a What Men Want.
Yeah, they did.
Did they?
With it was a comedian
How did I miss
lady. You're
It's
right.
actually really hilarious.
Yeah,
No, it's not Queen Latifah.
2019.
That's who I was thinking.
Taraji P. Henson. Yeah. Aldous Hodge.
Oh.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, 2019.
But I find that interesting. I mean, right? Because I might be the only guy here that's willing to admit that this monkey would have been awesome to find in real life. I mean, just like, holy crap, this would have been amazing. But at the same time, I would have been in the same boat of I can't stand stupid people. So
I have to argue with you just a moment. Because whereas that might be okay for a season, I have to admit that would probably get old.
Right?
Probably.
Yeah.
I feel like they had to keep upping the stakes in their sexual relationship. Like it just kept evolving to a more kept progressing.
Ridiculous.
Yes. And so I feel like at some point you hit a limit, right? Like there are things that you decide you can't do or won't do.
Well, and she hit that limit. She hit that limit in Italy or whatever they were. And I think that was interesting to see because she never said no. Right. But if you read her body language, there was no written all over it. But I will say the one thing, the rape scene in this movie is hard to watch, especially when you're trying to I don't want to say root for this guy, but at least at this point he's a sympathetic character. But at that point I'm like, I hope he gets arrested. This guy is, what the heck is he trying to do? So anyway,
the whole time
that's 70s or something. I don't know.
I really hope that she just kicks him in the nads. Just kick him, like knee him real hard so that she can get out of there. But then he just lets go and rolls over. Because I don't, from what I could tell, I don't think rape was actually there. He was trying, but I don't think.
He never got to that point.
There was intent.
He took off her freaking pants. So, I mean, or he was ripping off her pants. So, as a father to daughters, that makes me cringe.
Also an interesting choice to include in the movie.
Right?
The whole rest of the movie probably would have been a lot better without that part. But I guess it does show how screwed up his mind was.
It's Craven or something. Yeah, he was. I had a hard time sympathizing after that. So I had there's parts of this movie that I'm like interesting and made me think even into today, about some of the stuff. But at the same time, you're right. There's some bad directorial choices in this thing, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, great one-liners though. I feel like we've got so many jokes after watching this movie. That maple syrup reference earlier was perfect.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I'm just sitting here digesting what you're saying, Sam, and we'll do the rest of our 5-word reviews here in just a moment.
Right, and the funny thing is, it's not supposed to be a deep movie, right? I don't think it is, but for some reason, it hit me at that level where it's like, huh, it just goes to show that this is the relationship all guys want, but yet this is the scariest thing I've seen in a while.
Yeah, I mean, I think I can say guys want to have that relationship for about a month, and then it's, what I'm saying, that's definitely not the woman that you want to marry, but it'd be kind of fun to just have some fun with. But
during that time, I mean, I had a relationship in college a lot like this, and I'm very fortunate I did, but it ended before I wanted it to end, and I still have memories where I'm like, oh man, I miss that. So and unfortunately, it's something where the person was a horrible person, and what happened was a horrible thing. So it's like, anyway, I don't want to go too deep into that sort of stuff, but it's hard, even as a man, to just have no strings, stuff like that. So anyway.
You thought so deeply about this. I'm like, I did not.
I know, right? It's supposed to,
I was there for
Sean mentioned it's like American Pie in the 70s or something, and I'm like,
it is.
And I was watching it, and I'm like, yeah, it kind of is, but then it turned that corner, and I'm like, oh man, this is so freaking deep. I'm loving it.
So deep.
I love that the girls are giggling over that.
I was going to say, we're not used to being
That's what she said.
sure ones.
Yeah. Oh, this is fantastic.
I feel like every other sentence could be that's what she said on this episode.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
It's so
just wait until you hear some of the clips that I played or that I got.
Perfect.
Oh.
So anyway, that's my take on it. I found it interesting until it got scary. Just it got deep too quick, too soon for me.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, you can stop saying deep now.
Yeah, it got really deep. I mean, really
Stop
deep.
saying deep.
Really?
Like banana deep. Watching.
Okay, Andrew, say your 5-word review before Sam says something that I have to bleep.
All right. My 5-word review.
Not on the doilies.
My 5-word review. I have a couple here. My first 5-word review is sex is great until it's not.
There you go. Yeah.
And then my other one is.
Isn't that 6?
Yeah, I don't count.
Yeah. If he does 5,
he's a band director. He only counts to 4. So
yeah, I don't abide by the 5-word rule just because I'm a rebel like that.
said the guy that watched this
second...
movie at work.
My second review is what it's like to teach high school boys.
There you go. Yeah.
And as I was watching this, I could not help but to think of the issues that I see as a teacher with male students, especially in that younger freshman, 8th grade time frame, that literally don't think with their brains. They think with their penises, and they will do things and they will say things to women in the school, females in the school, even teachers at sometimes, that is driven purely from their pants, and they don't think about what's happening. And this whole movie to me was just that story.
Yeah,
it was just a story of a prepubescent boy that is still going through that. It certainly is not a
thought. If it's like a sexy Peter Pan or something, like he never grows
That's exactly what it is.
That's exactly it. There you go. Yeah.
I'm sorry, that just hit me. It's Peter Pan, but sex. Sorry, that's my deep thought.
Yeah, the whole movie, I couldn't get over the fact that he looked like Rowan Atkinson, because I thought,
or a friend of ours,
Mr. Bean? And that's why I have the picture, because I just that's all I saw every time he was on screen. I was like, I can't take this seriously because Mr. Bean's trying to bone this person.
Yeah.
And
like even his movements, like the way he moved was very Rowan Atkinson. Like it was not just in his face, it was in hair. It was like the way he moved. It was very
That facial expression that is part of your background, it was me watching the movie. Like I had a twisted T and I was just like, I don't what? Yeah. 100%.
Well, as I've explained off air, I had quite a surprise watching this movie today, and in a good way, because it caught me off guard and made me focus on the movie, because it was one of those films, kind of like Sam, that I went into thinking, I don't really need to pay attention. Like,
right.
I'm just gonna put it on and in the background. But after that cold open of being in his office and headlights there, I thought, okay, I better pay attention.
You did.
And honestly, with expectations that more of that was coming, right?
Yeah, and luckily it did not, in some ways. But there were other things. I mean, the scene with, I guess, what they call her, Bubbles, or
yes, Bubbles. That was disturbing.
Yeah, right. Again,
like, pimping her out.
You go into this scene and you start to see, I assume, I mean, I wasn't around, Sam might have been, but I assume that that's how women were treated at some point in his, that you could just punch her when she's not doing what you want her to do, even though it was a punch in the arm. And I just couldn't help but to think, all right, she's being forced to do something she doesn't really want to do, just to appease these guys. But it did give us that doily scene, which made me laugh afterwards, so I kind of forgot. And I did find it funny that there was like, I don't know if you guys caught it in the background. There was a picture of Jesus on the wall, and then a calendar that had biblical pictures on it on the wall in her apartment. And I thought, this is great.
Not only is he doing that, but he's doing it with someone who loves Jesus, which is very not would make his Jewish mother very upset.
Absolutely.
I'm glad that Mary Jane lived. I'm glad that the scene that it shows her very poorly edited falling off the building like towards the camera.
Technology back then, I don't think. I mean, that was probably state of the
Also,
art.
first of all, how dare you? I thought it was lovely.
Another camera shot that was shown about 12 times in the movie that was only really needed once. But I'm glad it was all in his head. I'm glad that she didn't actually splat on the ground in that way anyway. So that's kind of my take. It was an interesting film. I didn't hate it, to be honest. But the scene where we had the montage of them just hanging out, that I hated, legitimately hated.
Yeah. Well, do you think it was because it was so awkward? Because it just didn't feel right? Because it just didn't didn't jive with
it felt
kind of
out of character. Like this guy just wants to do it with her the whole time, and he's trying to be like a freaking Brady Bunch Christmas special or something. It just felt so weird and janky, and like, did they just invade some poor farmer's farm? Like, is there some guy off camera with a shotgun waiting for these guys to get out of the way so he doesn't hit the cow? She's in the barn.
I wish they would have hit the cow. I wish that while they were kissing and making out while driving, that the cow would have been in the road. That would have made the whole scene worth it.
The cow just falls in the car and just crushes it.
Just gave it meaning.
Yeah, give it some meaning.
I actually thought they were going to hit that tree.
You don't play with others for nothing.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
So inappropriate.
That's okay. Kelsey, do you have a 5-word review?
Oh, mine you've heard all night. Not the doilies, Portnoy. Sorry, that's all. When I think of this movie, that is the only thing I'm going to think of is not the doilies. And I feel like doilies can stand for so many things.
She just stops there. I feel like doilies can
I don't think I need to go further. I feel like a statement stands for itself.
It really does. It holds up. I mean,
not the doilies, Portnoy. Also, I have to say, the fact that when he was supposed to be a teenager and he still looked like a 40-year-old man, that was hard for me at first.
Yeah.
I know they didn't have like the technology, the makeup, all the things, but I was like, maybe you just get a different person to play the teenager because he is obviously not a teenager.
Yeah, you can't find another skinny kid to that part. Because I thought I was really confused, and the only reason why I knew he was in high school is when she said something like, "What are you doing after school?" And he's like, "I got homework," or whatever. And I'm like, "Wait a minute, what? This is high school?" Like you said, he looks like he's 38.
Yeah, he had his Letterman jacket on, but still, you were just thinking. He's just wearing that
nostalgic
to relive the glory days.
Yeah. Okay. Sarah?
Oh, so the hospital scene, I just realized, was one of those flashbacks too, because he was in his Letterman jacket with a baseball glove.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I swear I was sober watching this.
Well, but the problem is
weirdly disjointed the way things went together. It was so hard to tell.
It's edited very strangely because you don't always know what's a flashback and what's not. This gets into the trope that I'm going to talk about. I guess I'll talk about now. It's called the unreliable storyteller, right? When whoever's telling the story isn't always going to give you the truth, and we're confirmed this by the fact that in his mind she jumped. So all of this trauma that he deals with, that he's going to therapy for, is for a thing that didn't happen, but he thinks happened because he's kind of also crazy enough to think that she was crazy enough to do this thing. So, in my opinion, that means everything before is jaded. I don't think that his family situation was nearly as bad as he's saying it is. I think he just wants to get some sympathy from the non-talking therapist, which is also a trope. Yeah, give me Alan Arkin, the therapist from Grosse Point Blank, any day. He was a good therapist. At least he said words. But so that was one of the things that kind of annoyed me, and I guess it's probably from the book. But like, I can't ever tell when it's a flashback and when it's just the story, because everything technically is a flashback except the therapy room. But it felt like there was way back and then sort of back, right? Like high school and then just a few months ago and then high school again. Again, it was edited very strangely.
Well, and sometimes they'll do like, they'll make the past look like a little bit different tone or color. And I don't, they may not have had that technology back then. Oh. I don't know, but that would have helped me so much.
Yeah, they did. And that's not hard technology. That's either you put a filter on the lens or you color correct in post.
They should have filtered the lens then for the love of Pete.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, hell, they could put a piece of cheesecloth over the lens when it looked like he had blinded himself with his jism, as the woman said. So, which was a funny scene also. I that really made me laugh.
But was that one of those things that actually happened or not? Because we never see reference to a dog again, and he just says this guy handed me a stick and a dog. And
yeah, I think again, I don't think that any of that was real. I think that was just a story for the therapist. I think a lot of it's fake. I really do. I think his weirdly inappropriate story about his mom fondling him is made up. Or maybe that part's real, but the rest of it's fake. Who knows? Like, you don't know is the problem. He's an unreliable storyteller. It could all be complete garbage.
That's kind of what I thought, was that this was just all completely made up, but it was things he had, obviously things he had thought about. But I didn't think any of it actually happened, because let's be honest, how many beautiful model women are going to end up with a guy that, I'm sorry, he was not beautiful model male.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, if Mr. Bean walks up to you in the street and says, "I want to eat your P word," like, does that work? Like, is that?
Well, if he says it in that way, probably not.
Yeah, I don't know if I can say. I know I can say it on air, but
With
I just didn't want to.
Pardon me. I would kind of like to eat the P word, please.
Yeah.
Is that how? Yeah. Is that how that would go?
That's kind of why I thought the whole thing was a fantasy. Like, this was his fantasy about this fantasy girl. Because also, like, how many women like that? I mean, yes, I'm sure there are some very vapid, sexually charged women out there, but I feel like everyone has a deeper level. I don't know,
right?
To some extent.
If we're also talking about someone who is going to be that sexually charged for that period of time, and she's not, say, face-wise attracted to him, maybe he's got a big dick.
Oh.
But she didn't. She didn't know that.
If that's the case, then the Apple Core story has to be false.
Yeah,
you don't know.
Can't get over this.
Oh, but maybe oh my gosh, that one movie. Gosh, I have to think about this.
Well, I do want to tie in one. Oh my God, this microphone. I do want to tie in one thing, because I know we're kind of talking about the 5-word reviews.
Yeah.
My part of my take on it was the mental health side. So did his mom actually fondle him, and now this is the mental retribution taken on him years and years later, and him trying to figure out, was that appropriate, was it not, whatever. And then coming from a Jewish family with strict rules on dating and their lifestyle and whatnot. I mean, there's that mental health aspect too, which not as prominent in 70s filmmaking as it would be in today's filmmaking, but that was something that I kind of latched onto, because if he's seeing a therapist in the first place, I would be pissed that this therapist was not speaking. Like, maybe that's the therapy style that they have, but the fact that the therapist would not speak drove me insane.
Maybe that's the whole thing, is that like he's telling these outlandish stories to try and get a response out of his therapist.
That would be terrible.
Yeah, like you just keep going until the therapist finally says no more.
Right. That's an interesting. I do think it would be an interesting, like, to your point, Sarah, that like maybe the fondling by mom, that's the real part, and then the rest of it is. It kind of feels like the story that he's telling is an excuse for the actions later, right? This is why I tried to rape that girl, is because of all of these things that happened to me. Mom did this. My dad was insane. I hate Jewish culture. This woman that I dated for however long was kind of crazy. I mean, he kind of gaslights her for a little while, but she jumps on board pretty early too. And, she's like, hey, let's get married or whatever. And so anyway, I think maybe in his mind, like he's trying to justify what he did. I don't know. Like I said, maybe I'm reading too deep into it or I don't know, but if
I'm sorry, that's what she said.
Yeah, well, Sam wasn't here to say it. He's having internet, or he's having issues right now. But I guess I'll do my 5-word review, and that is, I think Andrew took 6 words one time. I only have 4, so we kind of balance it out, and that's when horny met crazy.
Yeah.
Little Harry met Sally.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, good.
Picking up what you're laying down.
Good. It's always better when I don't have to explain it. So I didn't take a whole lot of notes on this movie because it just didn't feel like there was a lot of things happening. It just felt like we were watching a lot of the same thing. I mean, that montage in Vermont felt like it took forever.
You didn't want to take notes about that?
Not that. I think I wrote... I said, oh my God, the cow part. Did they invade some farm and he reminds me of Mr. Bean? That's my note on that whole scene. Let's see. Like my very first note was talk about a cold open. I thought I missed something. Like I thought I'd missed. It's just so abrupt. It's so awkward. It's just.
It is. And then they never really did he talk to the landlord? Did he, they never solve that mystery? Like they open with this woman and her problem and he's supposed to solve it. I need to know, did he solve it?
Or just picture her naked. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, because did he just blow her off after he pictured her that way?
Maybe he did.
No.
Well, or she did.
That's what you said. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just realized that 3 of the 9 notes that I took start with OMG. So, why is his fantasy? His little fantasies are fun, but why is his mom cutting bread? Like when he's, because again, that was a flashback within the flashback, right? He's telling a story of his bar mitzvah, but he's changed it in the story. And there's a scene where his dad is all happy reading the newspaper, and his mom's cutting this giant loaf of bread, and his sister is insanely eating Jell-O. Like the whole, you know what I'm saying? Like the whole thing was just ridiculous, but it made me laugh, which I think was the point. And then I wrote, oh my God, the back and forth with the mom and dad is the most ridiculous thing. So like the mom is sitting down and the dad is literally running back and forth to the living room to yell at the son what the mom just said. This house can't be more than 300 square feet. There's no reason to ever get up from the chair. You just say the words and he can hear it, but the camera it was very slapsticky and it made me roll my eyes out loud. And then my other OMG was OMG the hand job bit. I can't tell what's real or what's in his mind. So again, like we said.
Yeah.
And then my last one that I'm going to mention is ugh. I know it's a product of its time, but these zooms are killing me. God, I hated the zooms in this movie.
I do too.
Ugh, it was so bad.
Okay, I do have a compliment for the movie.
Okay.
The costumes. I thought, I don't know, maybe it was made in the 70s, so of course the 70s costumes were on point.
Yeah.
But the clothing was great.
So not costumes,
but the clothing was great.
Sure.
Their outfits.
Yeah.
It was probably just
I'll give
their
him that.
clothes. I mean,
I know, but they looked very authentic. I guess they were. But I liked. They were good outfits.
Yeah.
Like when they showed up in Vermont and she was wearing that, like I was like, you know what? I could see someone wearing that today. Not me, but someone else.
I did think it was interesting when she's going to go to the mayor's thing, and she's basically wearing a bra and a skirt and that bow.
Yes.
And like he doesn't say
Like a swimsuit.
Yeah, and he doesn't say anything, and he's just like, okay, let's go, because he's all grumpy because he realizes she can't spell.
Yeah, can we talk about that for just a minute?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
If you love someone, does it matter
Set them free.
that they can't spell?
He did not love her.
Well, okay, true. But I mean, is that the deal breaker? Like, I mean, I know dumb people, right? We all know dumb people. But and to somebody, we're the dumb person. You know what I mean? Yeah. So when does it become a deal breaker that someone can't spell? I don't know. That just bothered me.
See,
that's the reason that he would give up this.
I just thought that was like the nail in the coffin for me. Like it felt like the other things that led up to it. Like the first break in the armor was when she was like, hey, wouldn't you like want to live in the country and just kind of be a family? Like that's when he puts up the first wall. And she picks up on it and she's like, oh, forget the country. Let's listen to rock and roll. I'm a free spirit again. Woo, right? And then we have the thing with the mayor and whatever, and like she's kind of at fault here, right? Like she just decides that every problem can be resolved with sex. Like I don't want to go be with the mayor. I'm gonna feel dumb. Let's just have a blowjob here in the park, right? Like
if only my wife would understand that, I think life would be a lot easier. But yes, maybe there was a moral lesson that she could have gotten from this. I don't know.
Yeah, because like again,
that men could get that blowjobs don't solve everything.
Well,
yes, but
that
like,
was her.
That was her.
She was like,
he was the one that was like,
everyone
no, let's
learns
just
this lesson.
Yeah, I think there's a lesson to be learned on both sides. I think because again, it was like, and in the end, the thing in Italy was like, she feels him slipping away, so let's just do, like you said, that they ramp it up. Let's do a threesome. Yeah. So she gets the girl and whatever, and then they do the thing, and then she's mad at him, and that's kind of where it is ended. But like, to your point, Andrew, the three of us married very intelligent women. I mean, I think it's fair to say that the three of us, we married very smart women. I've known. Sam's wife I went to high school with, and Karen I've known for 20 years. So I think it matters, especially to us. Something is happening on their side of the world. You okay?
I'm sorry. I accidentally threw a pen behind me. So then I saw the cap in my hand, so I felt like I had to throw the cap too.
Just complete the thing.
It was like an OCD thing. I can't just throw half the pen. The whole pen has to go if it's going.
I got you.
Sorry. So Sarah,
no, you're
watch
fine.
Things flying. I was trying to be discreet. It didn't work well.
oh dear God.
I'm sober. I'm not even drinking. So sober over here. This is just normal.
That's okay.
Normal weird.
It's late.
Sorry. You're probably thinking I'm the dumb one right now.
I'm not. No.
She's not.
I think my point was, Andrew's point was simply that, like, I think for most men looking for a long-term relationship, intelligence, there has to be some, you say, like, you have to be able to carry a conversation.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
And like that was, I think that was constantly a sticking point for him. Like he reads her this bit of poetry and she clearly doesn't get it. And that's obviously the problem. But again, their relationship was toxic from the word go. Like, so I think that's the point.
I think it was the word, it was the eat. It wasn't go. It was eat the pea, as you say.
Yeah.
Yes. The pea.
Yeah, she can
the
be hot with
Virginia.
that. Like,
you got to be
like,
careful
can I buy
down
you
there
a
with
drink?
You got to be careful with the Virginia down there.
Yeah.
Virginia.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, I love that. I'm sorry. That was also a favorite part. My Virginia.
Yeah. The slang in this movie. All right. Anything else before I play some clips? No? Okay, good.
No, we're good.
All right.
Yeah.
Time for. So my clips are labeled. Well, this is probably the most interesting I've labeled clips in a while. This one's literally just titled Apple Sex. So here you go.
Oh God.
The new product from Macintosh, the Apple Sex. Here we go.
Well, once at a picnic, my mother cored an apple for me. And when I saw what it looked like, I ran off with it into the woods and pretended that the cool and mealy hole of the fruit was between the legs of that wonderful girl who always called me Big Boy and pleaded for more. Oh, shove it in me, big boy.
How funny that's what you read, right? We did not plan that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's yeah.
What were you going to say, Sam?
Well, that I was going to say that whole conversation was that it was strange to me, but the whole time I'm sitting there thinking, who in their right mind as a woman would sit through this? And it was fascinating to me that she obviously had some mental issues as well, because
I had the same thought. I'm like, he just told you that he porked a liver. Sorry,
yeah.
he had relations with a liver, and you just laughed it off like it's nothing. If I heard that from my husband, we'd be having a very different conversation.
But like, we don't know who
Right?
we don't know who that woman is. I honestly thought it was a prostitute. That was the vibe I picked up from it. She was like, we don't see her face. Like, literally, all we see is hair and an arm. Like, we don't see.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, for all we know, it was a mannequin that they just did ADR with later. So probably not. But you know what I'm saying. So I just assumed she was a prostitute. Honestly, I didn't think that was a real relationship. Like, say whatever the hell you want. She doesn't care. You're paying for her. So.
Yeah.
I don't know. Even as a prostitute, I feel like you care a little. Like, people start telling you weird things. You think, maybe we cut this one a little early.
There was some small part of me that even after he knew Mary Jane for a little while, I still was thinking she might say, all right, so just so you know, I need my money now. Like, you know, I kind of got that vibe from the beginning that she was out there working the streets, not just trying to get a cab.
Yeah.
I got you. Well, she did say
And didn't
she
she get like
model.
super offended too when he implied?
Yeah.
That she was.
He like implied that she was a lady of the night, and she got offended, just crazy offended.
Yeah. Because she was a model. This one's just labeled diarrhea. Here we go.
Listen to the pain.
Oh my God.
I should have such pain.
What kind of talk is that? Can't you hear the suffering?
I should have such suffering. If I could do what he's doing just once a day, I'd be happy to do it in Macy's window.
So that's obviously funny because we as the audience know what he's actually doing, and the dad thinks. Now, here's a little controversial topic, but we're going to go there. The scene was funny, right? The scene is supposed to be funny, but like, do men make that much noise when they're doing that? Because I feel like men have figured out how to be quiet when we're needing to do that kind of thing. Because you
learn how to do that in like 7th grade, right?
Right.
What? Really? Are you sure?
Stop it.
That's why Sam was given the she shed to live in during middle school.
That's why.
I think that was part of what he like got off on, though, was that knowing they were hearing him, but like they had no idea what was happening, like that voyeurism almost.
Yeah. Well,
obviously, because he said he stepped up his game. Like he used to do it before dinner and after dinner, and then he started doing it during dinner. So
yeah, this man
I think
obviously
it was purposeful.
He's got some issues. I mean, major issues.
I feel like there would be some chafing going on. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of happening. You know what I'm saying? It's 3 or 4. You know, it reminded me of that scene in Wolf of Wall Street when Matthew McConaughey is like to Leonardo DiCaprio. He's like, "Hey, how many times a week? How much do you masturbate?" And he's like, 2 or 3 times a week. He's like, "I do it twice a day." And he's like, "That's how I keep up my edge." And even I thought, "Shit, that's a lot." So anyway, moving on to this.
How do you think Melvin Weiner gave himself colitis? Why has that child spent half his life in hospitals?
Because he eats Hazarai.
Don't you dare to make fun of me!
All right. How did he get colitis?
Because he eats Hazarai!
Sorry, I had to capture that laugh. It was like the Joker.
Yeah, it's creepy.
Yeah. It's like he knew why it was funny.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay, here's no more penis.
I caught the sieve from an 18-year-old Italian girl from Hillside. And now I have no more penis.
That's so bad. Oh, that's so bad.
Really dialogue
in the 70s.
The dialogue and the delivery remind me of Rudolph, the claymation Rudolph.
Red nose.
Yeah.
Reindeer?
I don't know what it
Just
is.
took a weird turn.
It really did. I don't know why, but it did. Like when I heard it the first time, I was like, why does that remind me of that so much? Yeah.
Oh,
Which, by the
Andrew.
way, just to steer us back in the right direction, there is a version that if you haven't seen it, it's called Rudolph and the Island of Misfit Sex Toys. So Google it and go watch it. It's funny.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't remember what this
That was
is. This
supposed
is
to steer us back on course?
Well, yeah.
Sorry, you watched this? You're gonna review.
I mean,
are we
not
gonna review this one
recently. I think I
next?
watched it when I was in high school.
Oh man. Well, we tried to look up. Never mind.
Oh no, you can't. What did you look up? You can't just stop there.
Well, okay, we were trying to think of because you said our top 3 movie sex scenes. You know.
Okay.
We
Oh,
were
for later.
looking
Yeah.
that up earlier. Like Gerard Butler came to mind, and
Sweet Jesus.
the movie 300. Well, we didn't-
yeah.
yeah. Well, we didn't realize there was I didn't realize there was a sequel. So then we were trying to find the first movie, and we
Oh,
accidentally almost clicked on a bad site.
We did.
Oh,
we 100% did.
Okay,
But then we're like, shit, go back.
yeah.
So now I'm gonna get a whole bunch
She's
of
gonna
really
have a
inappropriate
virus.
ads.
Maybe that's why the mic didn't work.
Mm.
No way.
You got virused. There's a callback.
Yeah.
There's a callback.
The computer got the sieve.
So did you accidentally watch like the 300 sequel sex scene, because there's a sex scene between Eva Green and whoever the lead dude is?
We did, but that's not the sex scene that I picked. It's
Right.
from the first
The first one, yeah.
original.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Lena
Yeah.
Hetty.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Sarah Lannister. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
the
Oh,
funny
yeah.
part. The funny part about that sex scene, I'm not gonna lie, that movie is terrible. That second movie is really bad. But there's a really funny thing where she's like, "Hey, come join me," and she's all sexy, right? Because it's Eva Green. And so then she like quote unquote seduces him. So he bangs her, and then he's done. And then she's like, "So are you gonna join me?" He's like, "No, but thanks for the ride." She gets that. Like, it's kind of funny, right? But like she tried to use her wiles against him, and he was having. Well, not none of it. He had some of it, but anyway.
He didn't have all of
He
it.
didn't have all of it.
Got it.
He had enough, and then he left. I don't know what this clip is, so here's mystery clip.
Is that it?
Oh, right. That's when. Okay, that's when he's getting ready to get the hand job from Bubbles, and he pulls his junk out, and that's what she says.
Oh.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Boy.
Oh, mystery of the length solved. It obviously that's not why the redhead was with him.
That's true. Unless Bubbles had very high expectations because of previous
I don't know.
suitors.
The guy that was just in there before him didn't look like he was packing either.
All right.
Sorry.
There's just nothing worse than when, you're about to have an intimate moment, and then she says,
Is that it?
There you go. Mm.
Yeah, that's the worst. And then she gave him okay, I'm sorry. In that scene where she's counting to 50, I'm like, the pressure.
No
Who
kidding.
can perform under the pressure
Right.
of counting out loud? It's like, at least count in your head.
Yeah. I'm surprised he didn't say that. This clip is called Kill Myself. Okay.
Yes, I do. It was a couple of years after my divorce. I tried to kill myself a little.
That's nice.
That's why I captured that. That's
Just
nice.
a little.
That's
I tried to
nice.
kill myself just a little.
Yeah, just a little.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Back to the 70s and mental health.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. This legit made me laugh.
Who is it?
It's a night maid.
Go away. I got all I can handle.
That made me laugh.
Yeah, threesome
Housekeeping, you
was
want me
his
fluff
line.
pillow?
Yeah.
Threesome was the line. Foursome was too much.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just too much going on. And I kind of liked also that they played the threesome funny, right? Like there was nothing sexy. The camera didn't see anything. There's a lot of like, I kind of feel like that's how it would really be. Is like,
Oh, yeah,
you
it is. Awkward. It
Move,
is,
move
yeah.
here. Wait, what, Sam?
What?
Rewind. What?
What's it?
What?
What just
No,
happened?
yeah.
Did Sam just confess to having a threesome on our podcast?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Ooh. Wow, this show just got real interesting.
Confessions. That's
yeah.
what we're going to call this episode.
Cheap Seat Reviews Confessions. Okay. So again, so this part, it made me laugh, but it's not supposed to because, so this is now post rape scene, and this is when he's being judged by something, the bright lights of the sky. We don't know what's happening, if it's the actual police or if it's just in his mind. I guess this is just his brain. His brain's trying to justify what he did because he was like, it's just consenting adults, and like he's trying to lawyer his way out of, an attempted rape. But this part kind of made me laugh.
But, Your Honor, she was of age. After all, a consenting adult.
Don't bullshit me with legalisms, Portnoy. You knew right from wrong, and for that you are justly sentenced to a limp dick.
That whole scene kind of gave me a Mel Brooks or Monty Python vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, here was a legit serious crime, and your brain is gonna punish you for it by making you impotent, but by saying,
But, Your Honor,
right from wrong, and for that you are justly sentenced to a limp dick.
like it's a joke, right? Like it almost makes the movie come across as that's the punchline to attempted rape.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And again, like I said, it made me laugh in the moment, obviously enough that I captured the clip, but it wasn't supposed to. Like, I don't think it was supposed to. Or maybe it was supposed to, and we're supposed to laugh off attempted rape in 1972, So, I don't know. Anyway, we're going to go, how do I transition from attempted rape to what we're about to go to? But I'm going to do my best. And I feel bad for our sponsor, but this segment is sponsored by...
Poorly timed.
Yeah, this is the worst. This is our good friend.
Please tell me that's an ad for Manscaped 3.0.
No, it's not. It's our good friend TV's Travis, and he's got a really cool promo he's gonna play, or I'm gonna play now.
Previously on Those Were the Days.
A mighty podcast, loved by good, feared by nobody.
What were they doing for the other 3 episodes, Audio?
It's still moving at a faster pace than any episode of DBZ.
Yeah, they're like translating is too much work.
He definitely had rocket boobs.
It's the same footage every time.
Is to just jump at it at vaguely crotch level. Alright, so the Roe Beast has drill nipples.
I have extensive knowledge of Voltron, all acquired during lunchtime.
Those Were the Days is a podcast about classic TV. Find us at anchor.fm/Those Were the Days Show or on Twitter @Those Days Show.
And now for some more bad news. Ready?
All right. Time for the new game that we play. By new, I mean 2 months old now, called Hey, Did You Notice? I cannot wait for Andrew to play this game because I have no idea what he's going to do. This game is simply, hey, did you notice that in the movie? Andrew's going to ask 5 questions. Sarah and Kelsey are on one team against. I'll be your opponent this time. Sam, you can be spared this week. And Andrew's going to ask us 5 questions, and if you get it right, you get a point. If you don't get it right, the other person gets a chance to steal the point. First one, best out of 5 wins. Ultimately, nothing. It's kind of like whose line is it anyway? The points don't really matter, but we're going to keep score anyway.
I still like to win.
Yeah.
All right, Bird in the Hand goes first, and again, if you miss this, the chance will go to Sean. What pseudonym did Alex use to book the inn in Vermont for he and Mary Jane?
Arnold.
Ooh.
Arnold, right? I feel I'm gonna go with it. Sure, Mr. and Mrs. Arnold Jansen or Jensen?
You are close, but no. Sean.
I know. I think Arnold is right, but I can't. The last name, it was like a famous name that I've heard 1,000 times, and it reminded me of a football player or something. But I can't remember what it was either. Like I heard and I thought, oh, that's the name of a football player. Do I
get half a point for
yeah,
Arnold?
She gets half a point for
yeah,
Arnold.
I'll give you half a point. The last name was Mandel.
Mandel.
And you were thinking of Howie Mandel.
That's what I was.
Who's not a football player.
Yeah, an actor. That's what it was. Or
all right,
Johnny
so,
Mandel. Was Manziel.
Yeah, that's true. Sean, this one goes to you.
Yeah.
How long after the trip does Alex say that the mayor's dinner party is? After they return, he says, "This time has passed. I can't believe I asked her to go to the mayor's dinner party." Well, that's a terribly written question, and I apologize. But
I know what you mean.
He did give.
It's in his he's when he's talking to the therapist. He's like, I can't believe we've been here. It was like 3 months or something. I'm going to guess 3 months. It's not right, but that's what I might guess.
All right, let's go to Bird in the Hand. Do you guys have an idea?
No.
All right.
2 months.
It was 3 weeks. He says,
I got 3 right.
3 weeks later. Yeah, you did get the number correct, but I'm not going to give you a point.
No, it's fine.
All right, so back to Bird in the Hand for the third question here. After the threesome, the clock, as seen on screen, speeding up, and it stops on what time when he gets sick to go vomit?
Do we know why he got sick?
No, we don't. But he did for some reason. I think it was just too much to drink, maybe.
Ate too much.
Oh my God.
Nice.
Lovely.
I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
Too many tacos. Okay. I'm gonna go with 5 a.m. 5 a.m. 5 a.m. sounds great.
That's incorrect. Sean, do you have a guess?
Is it 6:10?
It is 1:05 a.m.
1:05.
Wow, you guys know.
I remember the big hand being close to the 5 or 10.
Watching the clock go slow and speed up, but I have no idea what time it is.
All right.
I just knew it was the middle of the night.
That was good. That's good.
I don't know. Felt like
all right. Question number 4. This goes to Sean. Where did Alex meet Mary Jane? He says the street names.
Oh, jeez.
At the corner of one and the other. What are those 2 streets?
Washington and Maine.
No. Bird in the Hand.
There was a number. The second one was a number. Was
No
the
idea.
second street a number?
I'll give you a hint. They were both a number.
Oh, I don't know.
7th and 13th.
Oh, 49th. 42nd.
6th Avenue and 52nd Street. Yeah. That's where they met. All right. We're not doing too good on this. We're not doing too good on this tonight.
This is so hard.
All right. The last question.
Dazzled by headlights at the opening scene. I can't remember anything after.
The last question goes to Bird in the Hand, and it is, when Alex sits down in the waiting room at his therapist's office, he picks up a magazine. What was the magazine?
Stop
Oh, I
looking
know
at
it.
me like
I know
the
it. I know it.
Oh.
I know it.
I don't know.
No, I don't know. You just guess yours. You guess. You guess.
Guess. Time magazine.
That is a good guess, but incorrect. Sean.
Highlights for kids.
No.
That would have been perfect.
Psychology Today.
Psychology Today was the magazine he picked up.
Ah!
Sam should have been playing today.
Yeah.
So, Bird in the Hand, you will win by half a point.
Half a point.
So generous.
I mean, that's the worst we've ever done. Oh,
And that's our game.
That's a game. Good job, ladies. That was great. Time for this.
God, that was hard.
Yeah, Andrew's insane. I don't know why
That's
he makes them so
exciting.
hard, but he does. All right, here we go. There's another one for you. I just teed that one up there, right there for you. Okay, time for speaking of inappropriate things.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
This is where we do our top 3. That's right, top 3. Well, this whole movie is about sex. Well, and masturbation, but I guess that's a form of sex. So we decided to do our
Not
top
according
3.
to Bill Clinton.
Well, it's true. Our top 3 favorite sex scenes in movies. That's right. This is an opportunity for us to get a little. Well, let's see what turns you on. I'll make sure to send this episode to all of our parents. This is great.
Saucy.
Awesome.
Bobby
All right.
G will be so pleased.
Bobby G.
That's my mother's code name.
Okay. Who goes first? Sam goes first.
Okay. All right. My first one is the very first sex scene I think I've ever seen in my entire life. And I remember walking into my friend John's living room and his parents were watching it. And I literally stopped me in my tracks. And I don't even think it's a good sex scene, but it's the most memorable only because I can remember it. And it's that, I believe it's a sex scene in Lethal Weapon.
Oh, the one in Lethal Weapon 2 is pretty good.
Maybe it's the second one.
Yeah,
I just
blonde.
remember seeing. Yeah.
You just remember hearing, I'm too old for this shit.
Yeah.
My number 2 is the entire orgy scene in Eyes Wide Shut.
Oh, sure.
And in fact, I once had a girlfriend tell me that she thought my fraternity, that our initiation was basically that.
Yeah.
Well, yours wasn't?
What
I'm
did
like,
you guys
make me do?
Sorry to disappoint. No, you just catered.
He is a
You
confessional.
buried you brought around the food and wine. So, and then of course, the menage a trois in Wild Things.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Very good. All right. Sarah.
Oh boy. Okay, so we've kind of talked about it a little bit, but the scene between the two main characters in 300,
All right.
Yep.
hands down winner. The Notebook, when it's like pouring down rain and he picks her up on the dock and like carries her in the house and his pants are down and he's like frickin' determined to get her up the stairs, like carrying her the whole way. Winner.
So hold on just a second. So fun stuff. So I worked with some people that worked on that movie. So I worked in the film industry for a little while, and I worked with the sound mixer of that movie as well as the set medic and one of the other grips. And the director of that movie was like this kind of creepy dude. And so there's an extended version of that first sex scene between the two of them. And you can it's in a deleted scene or whatever. You can watch that scene, but like the director wanted the sex scene to go way more than what it was. And there was a lot of times where when they would like during the montage of them falling in love during that summer, he would literally tell Ryan Gosling like, "Hey, stick your hand up her blouse," like while you're making out. And like other cast members, especially James Garner, would be like, "We didn't do that when we were like that's not something we did. Like we were, like we would do that privately, but not in the street. There was a lot of those kind of things where." So like the Notebook like had to get like literally the cast was trying to tone down this director. The other kind of fun scene fun moment is in the boat right? So the boat scene where all the swans are, right? Swans, geese. First of all, how do you get 1,000 geese to show up on the day you shoot? You send a PA out there every day for 2 months to feed the geese bread so that they'll show up the day you get ready to film. So that's a real thing. Also, when they filmed it in Charleston, it was like the coldest it had.
Also, can I get that job?
Sure. Bird wrangler. That's your job. So when they were filming in Charleston, it was like the coldest in yeah, perfect.
Sorry, I couldn't help pass up the bird in the hand.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So it's like the coldest in Charleston it had been in 20 years because they filmed it in the winter that year because it's Charleston. It's supposed to be warm. So like when they're laying on the ground looking at the stoplight, the ground is so cold that in between takes they would use blowtorches to heat up the asphalt because you could hear their teeth chattering. So the scene when it's raining.
Oh jeez.
So when it's raining and they're caught on the boat, right? There's a moment where it starts raining and it cuts to her laughing and she looks like it looks kind of awkward. It's because they're both just so frozen that they can't even act anymore. They're so cold. So it's because it's like 40 degrees outside. So they call cut on the final take and she's like, "Get me out of this boat." And on the way out of the boat, she trips and falls into the water. Oh. And the Jonathan Gaynor, who was the mixer, can hear her screaming underwater through her mic pack, right? And so he's screaming for the set medic. So the medic comes running in and just runs into the water and scoops her up, right? Picks her up, carries her to her trailer, and is yelling for her personal assistant. "Come on, you got to follow me." So he takes her to her trailer. They strip her naked, towel dryer, and they get a bunch of hair dryers to try to bring up her core temperature because it was really cold. And so the set medic is telling me the story, right? And I'm like, "Dude, you saved her life, man. That's incredible." And then he just looks at me, smiles, winks, and says, "Yeah, but I got to see her naked too." So,
oh dear Lord.
Which brings us back to this movie.
Yeah.
Right.
He was a very nice guy and a very gentleman, but he was like, "Yeah, I still got to see Rachel McAdams naked." I was like, "Okay, I got you, pal." Anyway, so that was the middle of your top 3. You have one more to go.
Okay, so does this count with TV shows?
Sure, I don't care.
Or are we just talking movies?
We usually just do movies, but whatever you got, I don't care.
So Game of Thrones with Daenerys Targaryen and whatever the hell his name is, Khal Drogo. Post-rapey Khal Drogo, but when she takes control and decides this is my sex life, buddy, that sex scene is phenomenal.
There you go. Okay.
Also, I feel like the female choices are very different than the male choices for favorite scenes. Like Lethal Weapon, The Notebook. Very different vibes.
Just a little bit.
Sure.
That's fine.
Yeah. Kelsey?
Oh, okay. We're just jumping right into this. All right. Oh, crap. What were mine?
Oh, 1, 2, 3.
Oh, no. 3, 6, 5.
You knew what I was talking about.
She said 1, 2, 3. Sorry, the movie's called 365. 365 DNI or something. It's on Netflix. Yeah. Massimo.
My wife forced me to watch that one, which I wasn't, too upset about it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you've seen the movie, the plot's not great. No. It's a smut movie. You're there for the smut.
You do know there's a second one, right?
Yeah, I watched that too.
I didn't know that. My wife told me that the other day, and I said, "No, I'm not watching it."
There's a lot. It's very smut heavy. Like the first 30 minutes of the second movie, it's all sex.
So it's one we should do for the podcast. Is that what you're telling me?
After
With
this
your
one, that's easy.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So anyway, 365. Real. They just right up there, number 1. What was my second one? It's a TV show. Yeah, it's a TV show. On Netflix again. I'm sorry. Apparently, I watch Netflix a lot. It's called Sex Life, I believe. It's based on a book by B.B. Easton, where this woman, she's married, has 2 kids, but she starts writing this story about her first love, and then she runs into him again and kind of cheats on her husband.
Makes come true.
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't know.
dear.
There are some scenes in that one that sorry, I just keep going. Okay. It's a good one. And then Outlander. The Scottish accent right there gets me with Jamie Fraser.
Uh-oh, Andrew, that's your cue.
And the kilt.
I know it's quite a nice accent there, isn't it?
Yes.
What's strange though is the kilts are not really Scottish.
Not
That was
Scottish.
Americanized. No, it's true. Yeah.
We're gonna have to cut video so Kelsey can Portnoy the situation.
I love that not only did you kick into Scottish accent, you dropped your voice like, 3 or 4.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, you
brought
went
out a sexy phone voice.
you went
Sarah.
you went
Just
full
like
you went sexy Scotsman. I love it.
Yeah. It's perfect.
Yeah. We need sexy Scotsman more. Just saying.
We call him Randy.
Sorry, that
great.
was perfect.
Yeah, no,
Oh.
it was great.
That's good stuff.
Perfect.
What's
Oh.
your next shout out?
What was it? What was
Finger.
All right, is it my turn?
Please go.
Yeah, you and I have a gun.
Okay. All right. So again, like you said, the women's are going to be different than the men's, and this is the same. So my honorable mention, because I have one, is Natalie Portman and Mila Kunis in the Swan movie. What's that called?
Oh,
Black
it's
Swan?
so
Black Swan.
good.
Black Swan. Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So my number 3 is Diane Lane and that French dude in Unfaithful. That's it. Yeah, that's a good one. The movie itself is good too. Like it's just a good movie, but like Diane Lane, there's just something just really sexy about her. Number 2 is Monsters Ball with Halle Berry and Billy Bob Thornton. It's it's kind of a weird sex scene, but it's like really visceral and interesting. And my number 1
Is that the one? Is that the one where they gag when they get to the ball?
No. Thank you for that.
Okay, first of all, props. You said that without laughing.
Yeah.
I don't know how you did that.
You're welcome.
And my number 1 is the Thomas Crown Affair. Pierce Brosnan and Rene Russo all over that house, up the stairs and just everywhere.
They were having fun.
They were.
Good for them.
Good for them.
Good for them.
Yeah, well, you're rich. You can do that. All right, Andrew, what you got?
I've got at number 3, Sausage Party, the food orgy. Yeah.
Are these
If you haven't-
pornos?
No. Although, well, that one technically. No, that one's an animated movie by, what is that? Who did that?
South Park
Seth
people,
Rogen,
right? Or
no, Seth Rogen.
There you go.
Yeah.
No idea.
Yeah, it's 2016. It's a funny thing. The next one, number 2, I have from 2015 with what's her face from The Big Bang Theory, a movie called The Bronze. And she is a gymnast.
Oh yeah,
in the Olympics, and she
not Kaylee Cuoco, the mouse
yeah,
girl.
Not Kelly Cuoco.
The other girl,
blonde?
the blonde with the squeaky voice, but like their sex scene is Bernadette. Yeah, their whole sex scene is like they're gymnasts, and so they're just doing like
they're both somersaulting onto each other.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like
and it's Bucky,
That's
right? It's
painful.
It's the Winter Soldier, right?
Yeah.
That's the guy, right?
Yeah.
And then number one is a movie that I just recently saw, and literally every 5 minutes, if you clock it, something happens sexual every 5 minutes in this movie, and it's called The Voyeurs. And I think it's on Netflix or on Amazon Prime. I can't remember which. But but it's an original on, I think it's Amazon. But the movie itself is just a very good movie. It's almost a thriller in many ways, more so than kind of a sex movie. But it's very good. It was 2021, I think.
If we're giving honorable mentions, I just want to say the first scene I remember ever seeing was Titanic. And I remember my parents like threw a blanket over my head, like, you can't watch this.
Right.
But it was like an Afghan, so there were holes.
Nice.
I don't know that I've told this story.
Uh-oh.
I don't know that I've told this story on air before, but I that was a first date that I ever went on, was to see Titanic. And I had a girlfriend that was very pushy, let's put it that way, when it came to making out. And
you had a monkey?
Yeah, kind of.
Wow. Okay.
But I was, I'd heard all about this scene where Kate Winslet is naked and Leonardo DiCaprio draws her. And so I didn't know when the scene was going to happen. And so during this movie, this girl's trying to make out with me, and I actively am like pushing her away and being like, no, hang on, because any minute there's going to be boobs on the screen. And, needless to say, that was the only date we went on.
Boobs in the hand
Nice.
is more than boobs on the screen.
Oh my gosh.
I know that now. Back then I
Hard to
didn't.
pass up Kate Winslet though.
It's true.
Yeah.
Okay. That was a fun list. That was fun. I'm good times. Time for this.
Wait, what's supposed to happen?
That's right. This is where we're going to give this movie a score from 0 to 10. Yeah, we got to give you a score. See, Kelsey seems very surprised by this. Obviously, Sarah didn't share the text I sent her with all this information.
Oh, in all fairness, she did. I just haven't had a phone in a week because mine broke, and then I went out of town, and then I've been back, and AT&T has been yanking my chain.
Well, I sent her this like 3 days ago, so.
But yeah, I've had no phone.
Yeah, you print it out, hand it to you. Okay.
Print it out.
Yeah. Andrew.
IMDb puts it at a 5.4. I think that's fair.
That feels generous.
Yeah.
I think that's fair, because it is an entertaining movie to watch, and I guess at least it makes you think in many different ways. But I can't go quite that high. I'm going to say, I'm going to just inverse those and give it 4.5 out of 10.
Okay. All right. Wait, what just happened? That was weird. Kelsey.
Oh, see, I'm even lower than that. I'm like a 3.7. I don't like this movie very much.
Okay. Well, that's fine. That is perfectly fine.
Even though I forced us to, I mean, it's got great one-liners, but I don't know. I either like a movie to make me laugh the whole time or make me feel something, and that's just
Didn't do it.
Didn't do that for me.
All right, Sarah.
We're gonna go with 11. And honestly, if we're talking about a movie that makes you think and has that entertainment value, it was shocking to begin with, and then held my attention to the point of, what is this? Like, what is happening? So honestly, I would probably stick with the IMDb rating. I think I'm good with that.
All right, 5.4. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay. That works. Sam.
Yeah, the first quarter to half of this movie is a 1 or a 2. It drove me nuts and I hated it. It wasn't until Monkey came along and it started getting interesting that it started to take on some interesting dynamics. So I think I'm going to give it I'm kind of right there with IMDb, a 5.48 out of 10. Merely for the fact it made me think today and made me think about some of the questions it brought forth. So
all right,
you got in deep with this one.
I got in deep somehow with this one.
All right,
real deep.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of tracking with you guys. I wanted to make like a 69 joke, like a 6.9, but there's just no way. Like, there's no way you can go that high. So you can still make the joke, right? And say, I'll give it a 5.69, right? You can still make the joke. And yeah, I mean the movie itself is kind of bad. The direction's kind of bad. The score is just 70s as shit.
God, yeah.
It just sounded like every other TV show from then.
Well, it had some great saxophone.
Did it? I don't really know. I don't remember.
I mean, it wasn't Lethal Weapon quality saxophone, but it was.
Yeah, 80s sax is.
It was a little saxy.
Yeah, that's some good sax right there. But like, it was. I don't know. The acting is bad. The writing is bad. Sound design was kind of bad. There's a lot of bad there. The only thing that was interesting was just the story it was trying to tell, and but also. At the end of the movie, you just want to punch Mr. Bean in the face and,
Oh God, yeah.
And kick him in the nuts. That's all you really want to do. So that gives us a score of 5.055. And yeah, that's just barely under other movies in that same range as Beer Fest that we did last week. Yeah. And
there you go.
And Gunpowder Milkshake. That's kind of around the same vein there. So there you go. That's it. That's our show. Ladies, please tell my listening audience where they can find you and where they can get your stuff, because you guys have a great show.
So we're on pretty much every major podcast platform. So Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, a platform called Stitcher that I have never heard of nor access. So there's that.
Stitcher sucks. Don't worry about
it. Our what do we call it? Our host, like our host website or whatever. When it came out to whatever package we were choosing, it was like get listed on all of these platforms, including Stitcher, and I was like, what's that?
Yeah.
Like,
so
cool.
You gotta be
believe it or
careful which
not,
package you grab.
Stitcher has been around almost as long as iTunes. So iTunes was the kind of the first one, and then Stitcher came along, and like they tried to be the whatever. The problem with Stitcher was everything. That they were doing what like Anchor does, is that they will just randomly insert ads into your show, and you don't have as much control over it as you do with, like, say, Spotify or Apple. So it's fine. It's there. People older than us use Stitcher, but you're fine.
So we're also on Amazon and Audible, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
My sister listens to Audible now. So she listens to audiobooks like nobody's business. And so when we found a host and decided to purchase whatever package it was, I saw that it was Audible. So I immediately texted her like, there you go. You don't have to download another app. We do make jokes pretty regularly that we have like 3 listeners. And the last time we posted on Facebook, we had to skip a week because we were both sick. And then Kelsey's kids were sick and it was just a hot mess. So I made the joke like to all 3 of our listeners, and one of her friends commented and 2 of my siblings commented. And I was like, oh, cool. All 3 of them. So yeah, we're on every major platform. Next week is going to be our last episode of this season, and then we are coming back for season 2 in the fall. So we're still going to be active on social media for like questions of the day and content requests for future episodes. So we'll have dream interpretations, more badly written sex scenes. So yeah,
cool.
It's a good time.
Yeah, I got called out on your Twitter question today because you said your Twitter question of today as we record was, what's your favorite joke? And my favorite joke is not, I can't tell it in only 280 characters. And Ebony, who is going to be on our podcast in a few weeks, said, then put it in Notepad and take a screenshot. So I was like, okay, yes, ma'am. So... So I have a joke to write in a little bit so that I don't get yelled at by Ebony, because no one wants that. Being yelled at by an Australian is just not fun. So
yeah, but
Andrew,
it's
you
got
got
an
that one
accent.
in the bank?
Yeah.
You got that one too?
Absolutely.
Oh, this is the moment where we're waiting for you. I think
You're gonna
to yell
have to
at
come
us.
back to another episode to hear that one.
Oh, nice hook.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice tease. Oh well, you ladies, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on.
Absolutely.
We are, of course, Cheapseat Reviews. Cheapseatreviews.libsyn.com is where you can find all of our previous episodes. We are fastly. That's not a word. We are quickly approaching. Yeah.
If you were, Portnoy would probably have broken up with you.
That's true. Yeah. Well, he says fastly. I can't be with this guy. Episode 400 is coming up real soon, and we are so excited. Again, we're going to be doing Battle of the Cheapseat Reviews All-Stars. We have 11 former guests coming back on to do trivia questions about the movies that they reviewed with us and about our podcast itself. So I'm very excited for that. And I know
I'm not writing those questions because if I did, it would be, what did Sean say 3 minutes into the first episode?
Yeah. Yeah, here's the hint. It wasn't the catchphrase of the podcast because I hadn't written that yet. I think I didn't come up with that until about episode 10 or so. So we're very excited for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. In the meantime, go check all of our social media and all of that stuff. And just support us by leaving us a review. That'd be the coolest thing you could ever do is you can leave us a review on Apple or Spotify. And I will... in fact, hold on. This is so awkward to do live. But...
Oh, Sean, put that away.
We got a really sweet review from Rosie, our friend Rosie.
Yay. Oh, we love Rosie.
She's the best. I honestly thought she had already left us a review, but this only popped up a week ago, and I didn't see it. And it's Rosie says, quote, I enjoy every episode I listen to. Interesting 5-word reviews of what they cover. Here's my 5-word review. Fun, knowledgeable, honest, back and forth. Watch the movie, then listen to their podcast. You will learn a lot. Special episode number 1, Them's Fighting Nerds, is hilarious. With Cheap Seat Cast, me, Cameron from Green Shirt, and Jesse from Sudden But Inevitable. Oh my goodness, Thor Ragnarok versus Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Them's Fighting Nerds is hilarious. Only in round 2, but had to stop when Jesse says, flashy soundtrack trick. Cameron, love the ace you pulled out in round 1. Love you both. Cheapseat Reviews is entertaining and thoughtful in its analysis and commentary. My gosh, Rosie, what an awesome review.
Wow.
You were the best. Though I feel bad because I don't think she'll hear this because she's already confessed to me she's not watching this movie. So she might not hear
Oh.
this. Yeah.
Oh. Well, we still love Rosie.
We do, and I'll let her know that I gave her a glowing review. Rosie is the best. She's kind of like our number one. She's certainly our number one female fan. I'll just be honest. She's awesome. All right. That's going to do it for the show. I have nothing more to say, so I'll simply say on behalf of Sarah and Kelsey, Andrew and Sam, this is Sean saying thank you all so much for listening, and we'll see you next week for a movie that I forgot to tell you about.
This is Cheapseat Reviews.